Good evening. My name is Carla Thompson, and I'll be your hostess tonight for In Our Community. And my guest tonight is Bruce Cotter. And as you may have guessed, Bruce plays the bagpipes. Tell me, Bruce, how long have you been playing?
I've been playing bagpipe for 31 years now.
Wow. And how did you get interested in playing?
Well, when I was 7, the family and I went on a European vacation. We ended up in Scotland at the Edinburgh Castle and saw the military tattoo. The military tattoo is a performance of about 300-400 pipes and drums with other instruments. It's a very big tourist attraction throughout the month of August. If you get a chance, you should definitely go and check it out. And being of Scottish descent, and both my parents are musicians, I was going to take up some instrument anyway. So when I saw the pipes, I said that's what I wanted to do. And when I got home, they found me a private teacher, and I've been playing ever since.
May we hear some more, Bruce?
Yes, you may.
Wasn't that wonderful? Bruce, could you tell me about the origins of bagpipes?
Yes, I can. The bagpipe originated somewhere in Turkey. And there are 76 different types of bagpipes in the world. Just about every country has their own type of bagpipe. And the origin of the bagpipe itself is kind of a generic thing. There were always horns throughout all the different countries. And someone got the bright idea to slaughter an animal, turn it into a bag, and thus the bagpipe was born.
What part of the animal? Was it the stomach or?
No, it's just the skin. Sheepskin.
Sheepskin.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And also, you're wearing such a colorful outfit. I was wondering if you could describe your outfit and tell us what the different parts are.
Yes. Let's start with the shoes. These are the ghillie brogues. These are your standard dress shoe for the bagpipe. The socks, these are called kilt hose, and they're made out of wool. And on the side here, we have the flash. Flash are just extra pieces of material from the kilt, just to give a little flair. Now, what I'm wearing here, this is the kilt. This is also my family tartan. This is the Royal Stuart. We have a kilt pen, just for decoration. This is called the sporran. The sporran is my pocket. We have 24 feet of material in the kilt, and they forgot to put in a pocket. So here it is. I'm wearing the doublet jacket today, and the nice belt buckle, the little Celtic design, one of my favorites. And that's about it, but it's all wool. So we got a lot out of our sheep.
Yes, you sure did. And could we hear a little bit more?
Oh, yes, you may.
Wonderful. Give you a second.
Oh, cheers.
Yes. He's really working up a sweat, ladies and gentlemen. Can you tell me how the instrument is made? What is it made of?
Okay, we have 3 different things here with the bagpipe. We have African blackwood, Spanish silver, and Indian ivory. This instrument was made in 1917 by Peter Henderson in Scotland. There are similar instruments in museums in Scotland that have bullet holes in them. The bag is made out of sheepskin. There are 4 reeds in the instrument, 1 in each of the drones, and 1 here in the chanter. So basically you just blow and squeeze, move your fingers real fast. That's all there is to it.
I don't know, the way you're moving so fast. How does the bagpipe work besides the blow and squeeze? Is there...
Well, that's mostly it.
That's it.
There's a lot of blowing and squeezing going on. So the blow stick fills up the bag. I have about 4 or 5 extra breaths of air in here, about 4 or 5 seconds worth. I strike the bag. It causes air to go through the drones, gives you that hum sound. Once that's going, I'll squeeze a little bit harder on the bag, and that'll bring in the chanter. Once the chanter is going, I keep that pressure solid the whole time until I'm done. And then when I'm about ready to finish, I'll stop blowing, squeeze down until there's very little left in the bag, and then I'll release. You get a clean cutoff.
Wow, impressive. Can you give us a little bit more music?
Absolutely. Okay. for the Irish out there.
Why don't you have another drink?
Yes, please.
Yes, you need it.
Okay.
What are the traditions that surround the bagpipes?
Well, there are a few different traditions. There are the ones that are probably the most well known. From the military background of the bagpipe, we have a lot of bagpipes at funerals, and also for weddings. And these are my favorite, though. These little private get-togethers. Let's play some fancy stuff for you. But it's mostly because when the bagpipe was taken over by the military, it became regimented, and then competition was created, and then the standard of piping from then on has been the same. So those are the traditions.
How long does it take to learn to play the bagpipes?
Including today?
Yeah.
They say it takes 21 years to become a piper. 7 years of listening, 7 years of practicing, and 7 years of performing. That's probably about right. It definitely takes about 10 years to get the hang of it. You don't actually start on the full-size bagpipe. You start on what's called the practice chanter. So you learn the basic fingering for about a year, maybe 2 years, before you even get onto the big pipe. And then it takes about another 2 years just to kind of get comfortable with the blowing and the squeezing. So about 7 years just to get the basics down.
Wow. Mm-hmm. That blows me away. Do you teach bagpipes by any chance?
Oh, I do teach bagpipes. I play bagpipes professionally for my living. I teach about 3-4 days a week. I teach all ages, children up to whatever. Whoever wants to come, I will teach you. But I mostly play funerals, weddings, private parties, and that's what I do for a living.
Well, do you have any more songs for us?
I do.
Why, thank you. How can somebody get in touch with you if they'd like you to perform or to receive lessons?
Well, you can, the easy one is to Google San Jose bagpipe player and Bruce Cotter will come up. Or you can reach me through my website, which is mantismusic.com. That's probably the best way to do it.
Okay. Now, I had one of the staff people ask me a question that they want me to ask. How long can you hold your breath?
Honestly, I haven't timed it.
Really?
Really. Probably not as long as you might think. I'm used to pushing it out as fast as possible.
And they were also interested in your breathing patterns while playing.
Okay. It's very similar to blowing up a balloon. Take a deep inhale and then just exhale strongly. And then, so I'm breathing pretty much normally. It's just every time I blow out, I'm really blowing. And I do get a little bit tired towards the end, so I might be blowing a little more often. But for the most part, I'm just breathing whenever I need to.
And when you perform, about how long is the set?
Pretty much what I've been doing here for you today. It depends on if I'm going to be doing an interview or not. I'll stop and speak. I can probably play for half an hour straight if I had to.
That's quite impressive. Mm-hmm. Is there anything you would like to add?
How about another tune?
Oh, I'd love it. Go for it. Once again, my guest today was Bruce Cotter, a superb community.
Thank you very much.
And then we pretend to talk.
Okay.
Okay.
It's a great time.
Thank you, Cooley.
Well, thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure performing for you all today. Thank you for coming out. Your support means a lot. Thank you. Thank you.
And I hope we timed this just right, because they gave me that 1 minute, and I thought, oh gosh, he's going to keep going.
I can always play another one if you need me to. Thank you. Thank you very much.